Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, yeah, Nico has messed up, and he absolutely knows it. Story coming out today about this. He put out a video. This young man, he is definitely regretting his decision to leave Tennessee, and we knew it was only a matter of time. All of us knew it, and I'm going to show you some other things where other coaches were talking about it and people that follow college sports. And you folks know I don't bury the lead. Let's get right into it. All right, there's all kinds of stories out here. Nico Iamaleava, he sent a new message to Tennessee, and this is by Zach Reagan. Zach misses nothing. He's always on this type of thing. Anyway, Nico on X, this is just a screenshot of the video, and it says, gonna miss the real ones, or miss my real ones, with the emoji with the crying face. Now, this is a TikTok video. It's got a bunch of copyright stuff in there that I can't play for you. It's got all kinds of music and stuff. But if you want to watch this, just go to A to Z Sports under Zach Reagan and Nico Iamaleava, and you can watch the video from this article. And Zach writes, I know plenty of Vols fans aren't happy with the way Nico left, but ultimately that's the state of college football in 2025. It says young players who are still developing as players and people are making decisions that athletes have never been expected to make before. It says unless you've been in those shoes, it's a hard thing to understand. Now, I'm going to tell you what the heck happened here. This had a lot to do with the people around him, Nico's team, and then Nico listening to that 24/7. Oh, you need to be getting $4 million. You're only getting $2.5 million. Carson Beck got $4 million. You got to get $4 million. You're being taken advantage of.
The Jedi use their power for good.
Good is a point of view, Anakin. The Sith and the Jedi are similar in almost every way.
Forgetting that nobody at his team saying, you were getting paid sitting on the bench when you redshirted your freshman year. That $2.5 million, so they don't bring that up. They don't say, hey, pretty good money to sit on bench. They only talk about what Carson Beck might be getting or some other player might be getting. Carson Beck having better numbers and a fifth-year senior as opposed to Nico, who had a okay redshirt freshman season. It wasn't great. It wasn't awful. It was just okay for a redshirt freshman that was a five-star. And instead of looking at it in reasonable terms, they start making demands. Hey, $4 million. Hey, change the offense. Go get this person. Go get that person. And if you don't, it's going to be trouble. That kind of stuff being around a young person can get in your head. And it built him up and built him up. And then as soon as he got dissed in any way, he let his emotions get the better of him.
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
And we covered that pretty heavily, that even his dad supposedly told him, said, you better sleep on this. Don't quit yet. Which is kind of surprising that news came out. I think maybe his team may have realized we may have pushed him a little too hard. And when Pete Nakos came out with the story that had been leaked to him, and it appeared to be coming from the Tennessee side, that they were negotiating, that upset him. He's like, hey, can I really trust these folks? They're out here leaking to Pete Nakos. And of course, his dad had said Pete was full of crap, which wasn't the case. Pete was telling the truth. And Nico got butthurt about it. That's what it boiled down to. He got his feelings hurt, and he made a rash decision. Then he didn't show up for practice. When you don't show up for practice, you don't call, you don't say, hey, I'm sick, I'm something, and you just don't show up, it's over. It's over. You cannot have that in a team, in a college sports team, where somebody just doesn't show up for practice and kind of throws a fit. So he got put off the team, or he quit, or whatever basically, he put his name in the transfer portal. So I guess you'd say he quit. And now he regrets it because he's gone. It's not even just about the money. The facilities at the University of Tennessee, the fan base support, all of the things that you get at Tennessee as a five-star quarterback, you're the talk of the town, the toast of the town. Everybody knows you everywhere you go. Everybody's kind and good to you for the most part. And you've got tremendous support in every way possible. Josh Heupel, treated him like a son, honestly. That's what my sources are telling me, that he couldn't have treated him better. And I think Nico would back that up. Now he goes out to UCLA, The facilities are not nearly as good. The attention to that school compared to Tennessee is night and day. There are 5 professional sports in that town that are more important than UCLA. Their facilities are about half as good as Tennessee.
How dare you!
And oh, by the way, he probably looked at his offensive line and wide receiver crew and went, dang, I had a 5-star left tackle. I had a 5-star right tackle. I had veteran 4-stars in the middle that they just picked up for me. And now I go out to UCLA and it's a makeshift offensive line. I've got a brand new offensive coordinator who's never made an offensive play call in his life. This is his first gig as an offensive coordinator. He's got wide receivers that are middle of the road, and the news media is not just all about him. You know, he's getting some news, but it's not like it is here in East Tennessee, not anywhere close. So he's already missing it. And this is not going to surprise any of you, and it certainly didn't surprise a lot of coaches because this was Urban Meyer. He saw it a mile away.
I see, like, Nico's the most famous of the stories out there where I always tell people this is going to be one of those deals a couple of years from now. They're going to say now, whether it be father, whether it be third uncle, or whether it be an agent. Now, tell me again why I did that. You know, why?
Well, Coach,
let's go back here and review what happened.
Yeah.
Why did I just do that? Because a 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old, all due respect, they're not equipped to make that decision. They can't. That's why they call parents parents. That's why they call coaches coaches. Someone's got to advise and help them that's been through the ringer a little bit. And then all of a sudden you wake up one day and you find yourself in a really bad situation. You're going to be like, what in the hell did I do that for?
But Coach, you go back even 1 year. Coach, you go back even 1 year to Isaiah Bond, University of Alabama. He's their #1 receiver. He goes to Texas, transfers for whatever amount of money. He gets a Lamborghini. He goes there.
Jeez.
Doesn't have the season that you think that you're going to have. Then you go to the draft and you go undrafted from a guy who's the #1 wide receiver. You were a #1 wide receiver at Alabama. So, like, there is several people who are showing you, like, what not to do. You know what I mean? It's not always greener. You just don't always chase the money. You chase the opportunity and the platform you have to get to the next level. The ultimate goal for Isaiah Bond was to get to the next level. And he went undrafted. He's there, you know, but he should have been a top 2-3 round pick. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and that was Mark Ingram, one of the great running backs for Alabama back in the day. And he's talking about how Isaiah Bond really messed up. He didn't even get drafted. And he was the #1 wide receiver at Alabama. And then here you see Nico, who just really, you want to talk about leaving the land of milk and honey. He flat out did. And he's starting to realize it. And he puts out this video, you know, talking about Tennessee. And it's a sad country song, basically. It's like, man, you're not even anywhere near playing football yet, and you're already missing Tennessee. And I get it. I really do. There's part of me that feels sorry for him in a way, and there's part of me that's still ticked off. You know, when it put in there about the real ones, I was one of the real ones. You know, I stuck with him when he stepped out of bounds with no time left. I stuck with him when he overthrew 4 wide receivers for touchdowns against Alabama, 3 in the first half. That was crazy. And I stuck with him. But when you pull one of these stunts, you know, and especially in the spring when you left us no options, and we wound up with Joey from UCLA, who might end up being really good. We don't know. He was really good at Appalachian State, and I'm not terribly concerned about the interceptions at this point because Josh Heupel's quarterbacks don't throw interceptions. With the way he sets up his offense, it just doesn't happen. So he can probably take care of that. But we don't know what we got in Joey. He would not have been our first choice, obviously. Had Nico left in the wintertime, we'd have had our choice of 30 quarterbacks. And he would have had a better option, too, rather than going to UCLA. That was kind of his final option for a Power 4 that would take him and pay him a decent amount. I think he took about a $1 to $1.5 million hit financially. But that's really not the big thing. The big money's in the NFL for him. And go into a situation where you're not going to be well protected and you're not going to be throwing to 5 stars and 4 stars everywhere you look and be getting a ton of attention like you get in the SEC, it can be problematic. And the other thing is you're the holdout guy now. And Cam Newton, you know, he said it perfectly.
Whoever gave him the advice to sit out killed that kid.
Regardless of how you bounce back from this, you will be
the example. He will have this as a stain on his career, and it's sad.
Yeah, I mean, it's on you. It's just, you're that guy. You're the guy that held out in college, the very first one. And those owners and those coaches in the NFL, they'll have that in the back of their mind at draft time. You know, are we going to be negotiating with him? Are we going to be negotiating with his team? You know, is he going to be a holdout type guy? He's already done it once. Left a perfect situation for himself. You know, it's just it's a cautionary tale. This really is exactly that. So it does not surprise me in the slightest that he's already regretting it. It's just earlier than I expected. I thought he would regret it big time about the middle of the season after he's played 4 or 5 games. I'm not over expecting from him. He's very talented, and that'll be kind of a lower pressure situation for him. He may play better, but he's also not going to be protected well. And again, the talent around him's not there like it was at UT. And he's in the Big Ten. He's going to be playing some tough ball games. I think he's got to play Ohio State at the Shoe.
Again.
He's got to play Penn State. I mean, there's a bunch of games in there that are really going to get his attention, the very first game being Utah. I'm very torn on this. There's part of me that's really ticked off for the way he handled himself in this and really put us in a bad spot. But as a person that played, like I played at UT. Granted, it was back in the 80s on the golf team of all things. But I can understand that mindset. When you're that age, you're sensitive.
Sensitive.
Like right now, stuff that bothered me back then wouldn't even faze me now. When you get, 40, 50 years old, stuff, it's just like good. You don't even think twice about somebody getting in your ear about something. If he was 50 years old in his mind, he would have turned to his team members and just said, shut up. I'm making $2.5 million a year here. I'm being treated like gold. I got a great coach who loves me. And you want me to freaking leave? Are you crazy? Just quit worrying about all this stuff. Let me make my money, and then we'll make the big money in NFL. And you'll all be taken care of. Just relax. But when you're 19 or 20, it's like, what? What? Somebody leaked something? Well, I can't believe it. Oh, I'll fix them. I'll get them.
I'll get you for this, deputy.
And then about a month later, you're like, oh my God, how could I have done anything this stupid? What was I thinking? It's because you're young and impressionable. So anyway, I'm very torn about this. And I'm really hoping Joey has a great season. Oh, that would be so much Captain Justice. Go, Joey, go, man.
Whoa!
Anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's me continue to cover all these big college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, boom, 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 hit that button right there. It will not cost you a dime, and you won't look back and regret it. Like Nico. Anyway, right here's the most recent video YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.
Congratulations, you played yourself.